One Winnipegger is appealing the assessed value of his home for the third time. This comes after the city mailed out 2027 proposed property value assessments. Jeremy Dias lives in the Charleswood area, and his neighborhood is seeing the second highest median increase for Winnipeg home value assessments, 15%. This is what Jeremy told CBC's Gavin Axelrod.
The last evaluation 2 years ago, we were able to settle on a reasonable amount for our home, which was $400,000, and now they're proposing that our home is worth nearly $600,000. So that's, quite literally 50% more of the value of our home, which would nearly double our municipal taxes.
When you opened that letter and you saw $593,000, what kind of went through your head?
Oh my gosh, it was just so outrageous. It was just so ridiculous, and I'm dying to know why the city had this valuation. What are you thinking that my house is like? What do you know that I don't know?
What do you plan to do about your assessments?
So I've already booked my appointment. If you get a high valuation, you can book an appointment. They're booking until late February now.
I was going to say, what's the process like?
Yeah, the process is brutal. You have to call the city. There's this ongoing back and forth negotiation. And if you disagree, you have to go to a tribunal, in which case you have to take time off work to make that happen. And it requires hours and hours of your time. It's not a simple process. It's not very accessible. It's we have to take photos of our home. We have to document everything that we've done or not done, any sort of damage or anything that needs to be repaired to our home. And then we have to justify why their valuation is incorrect. And I'm not a property assessor. I'm not a home builder. So they're asking me to step well outside of my skills to provide information on things that they should already know about. I also feel that if they're proposing a high valuation, there should be an explanation behind that, beyond just property values have gone up.
How long did it take you, the last time you did the process?
Oh my gosh, it easily took me 40 to 50 hours. So a good work week of time. But more than that, I was really disappointed with the mayor's statements on this issue. For him to say that an increase in our property values does not necessarily increase in our taxes is really erodes trust in government and is rather deceptive, frankly.
That was CBC's Gavin Axelrod speaking to Jeremy Dias about his frustration with his property value assessment. And he's not alone. CBC has learned from several Winnipeggers who are concerned, or we've heard from several Winnipeggers who are concerned about what the city says their house is worth and what it could mean for their property taxes. Tim Austin is the Director of Assessment and Taxation for the City of Winnipeg. Good morning.
Good morning, Corey. How are you today?
Good. Thanks for joining us. So Tim, as we heard, Winnipeggers like Jeremy there is just really wants an explanation for, why he saw such a jump, and he's not alone. So, what factors could contribute to a big increase like that?
Yeah, Corey, if I could start, just if you can indulge me and your listeners indulge me a little bit by saying that we do send out proposed residential assessments at this time of year. Every second year for a general assessment, as it allows property owners to review their proposed assessments, their property information, allows comparisons, and provides the ability for property owners to arrange a telephone appointment with us to discuss their concerns or questions with our valuation staff before our final assessments are sent out in early June. We've been doing this a long time with the preview program, and it's been successful, and we do have a lot of customer contacts. And we learn a lot about properties at times that we may not have information that we may not have known. If there's a problem with the property, we may not know that. If there's renovations done, we may not be aware. So these things come to our attention based on people reviewing their property information and giving us a call. Having said that, the city, part of that hopefully answers the first part of your question. I can't get into specifics about Mr. Diaz's property. I don't know where he lives, and I don't have that information. Plus, I wouldn't do that in a public forum. He could certainly call and set up an appointment and discuss the issues with his property. If there is an issue, we can certainly look at that. We may have to arrange an inspection to go out or have a virtual inspection so he can show us the issues, and that may result in a change. may or may not result in a change depending on what the issues are. Um, so, to kind of answer your question about what leads to us and what we look at, assessed value is an estimation of what a home would sell for on the open market between a willing buyer and a willing seller if it were to take place on a certain reference date. And the provincial legislation tells us that we have to look at April 1st, 2025 as kind of the line in the sand. The City of Winnipeg and our department has access to information on homes that have sold in different neighborhoods throughout the City of Winnipeg. We analyze those sales. We really look at them. We look at market trends of what we're seeing when we're investigating the sales, and adjustments are made to estimate what, say, a home sale in June of 2024 might have sold for on April 1st, 2025. That information is used to help us arrive at values for the rest of the residential properties that haven't sold. Again, looking at things, we make adjustments based on characteristic data, and some of that data is based on size. Not every house is 1,000 square feet or 1,100 square feet, so we do adjustments for size, age of the property or the building. We look at location, building quality, basement finish, and those sorts of things will, normally add value or change the value a little bit from those houses that sold.
When someone kind of gets that proposed that piece of paper and they look at it, and how often is it there's someone that actually has taken time individually to look at their house, or can they assume it's kind of based on more of like a general market a trend? How much work does the city put into like really dig down into each individual house?
Yeah, a lot of when we have to revalue all the properties in the city of Winnipeg, it's through the analysis of sales. We do talk to a lot of property owners, especially through the preview program, and outside of that program, we get a lot of information through those conversations, as well as sometimes through the appeal process. We don't go out during every reassessment and look at every property. We won't be able to do that. The city of Winnipeg has over 240,000 properties in it. We would never be able to do that in a 2-year period.
Hmm. And so you said there's the option of setting up a phone appointment.
Mhm.
Is that where people can learn like the kind of exact factors that went into determining the price of the proposed price of their property?
Yeah, a few things. There's a lot of information, Corey, that we post online that we make available to property owners. If they can certainly call us, and we're happy to talk to them. Right, we're happy to hear their thoughts and talk specifically about their property. Our website, has a dedicated page to our 2027 residential preview program. It includes key dates as well as links to some key information that may help people or property owners when reviewing their proposed assessment. For an example, we have our brochure that everybody would have received within their letter, a map showing the median market change. We also include and post residential sales information that contains high-level facts about the sale. We don't get into the granular details there, but we do show the address of the house that was sold, the type of property, if it was a bungalow or 2-story, the year built, the square footage, the year of the sale, and then the adjusted sale price to that April 1st date. We include also on our website, we have lots of FAQs or a number of FAQs that help. We also have a document that shows kind of some details about our mass appraisal models for both residential and condominium properties for the 2027 general assessment. So there's a few things online. There's also, they can review through a map online, Corey, that shows their neighborhood, or they can search on any property in the city for high-level information that shows, say, the current 2026 property assessment as well as the proposed assessment for 27. They could see how their neighbors or similar houses are going or changing in their neighborhood. We also have a secure website, and people would have a user ID on their preview note or preview letter, assessment letter, called My Properties. They can sign in, property owners can sign in and see specific information about their property in more detail. For example, they can see their property attributes and things that we have listed such as square footage, number of rooms, bathrooms, basement finish. I would recommend property owners taking a look at that. Maybe they've done something to the house that we're unaware of, and we have one of these attributes maybe incorrect. We can change that attribute, which may impact your value. That helps ensure that our records match what the property has. Um, they can also see on that website comparable properties that we've listed where they can review and say, oh, these houses are similar to mine, and that's what they sold for in my neighborhood. So there's a lot of information that they can do online. But additionally, you're right, they can give us a call. It's a 15-minute appointment, but a lot can be discussed in 15 minutes with our valuation staff to review the property, ask questions about and their concern to address their concerns. And this program runs until April. The residential review program runs until April 10th.
So there's the phone call, but can you just walk through like what that formal appeal process is as well? If
Yeah.
someone really wants really wants to dig down and say, hey, this is not what my home is worth.
Absolutely, Corey. This process and what we've done with the preview letters, this isn't an official appeal period. This is, a proposed value that we're sending out so people can, digest it, take some time to think about it, look at it, compare, talk to us if they need to. If the property owner, after talking to us, is still not satisfied on our position or maybe a change that we can make based on maybe some information that we didn't have, they can file an application for revision once the 2027 assessed values are mailed out in early June. They're going to be mailed out on June 4th. And then you could file an application for revision to the Board of Revision in between June 4th and the deadline is on June 29th. And that goes into a more formal process. And in that process, the City of Winnipeg will go and we'll have conversations leading up sometimes. And maybe we could still resolve that prior to the actual hearing. If we don't, and there's no agreement to be made or people still don't like the value that we're at, we can go there. What the city does is that we will bring comparable properties. We'll talk about the property to support our value. And property owners should bring and should do some homework, like Mr. Diaz talked about. I don't know how long some people may take more time, but to review what sales have gone in their neighborhood, what similar properties, if their property is similar to other properties, and to facilitate a discussion for the Board of Revision to make a decision.
We kind of heard the frustration there in Jeremy's voice. What's your reaction to those who say that this appeal process of getting things changed is difficult and time consuming? It may even be a deterrent to some people who might really feel that this is not the right price, but it's just don't have the time to make it happen.
Yeah, for the time, time is valuable for sure, Corey. And I'm going to tie it back to our preview program. We've extended the period of time that we open up to talk to people to April 10th. Our hours, we start at 8 a.m. So people start at work at 9. We can have that conversation beforehand. We also work into the evenings during this time to allow people so they don't have to take time off work to have that conversation with us. In filing an application to the Board of Revision, there is legislation that needs to be followed, and they schedule things. The Board of Revision for the 2027 general assessment, Corey, will start hearing applications for revision. I believe the first sitting is sometime it's about middle of July. And we hear all the Board of Revision applications by the middle of February. So it does take time to get all that done. And we try to get that done all before we have to produce the 2027 property tax bills.
Okay. And just wondering, have you heard more complaints from people this year than in past years?
You know what? Our preview program right now is booked till the end of February. That's not uncommon. We do hear a lot. I've heard maybe a little bit more media play this year than I have in other years, and that's okay. And people, these are people's homes, and they open up an envelope and they see a number, and part of it is about education and trying to educate folks about how that means and what that works at. And this is, it opens up conversation, which is a very good thing, right? And we're here to talk to property owners and try to explain how assessments are, how we derive their assessment at their property level, and try to explain and review kind of comparables and what their home has compared to others. A lot of people will look at a home, Corey, and say, I live in the exact same home as them. Why is mine assessed higher? Well, the home may be across the street, maybe has, they don't have a finished basement, they don't have a bathroom in the basement, those sorts of things, right? That people may not be aware of just by looking at the exterior of the building.
Well, we'll leave it there, Tim. Thanks for your time this morning. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me.